Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep and the final edition of 8 Till Late. Well, final for this series anyway. My name's Tom, and thank you so much for your company this evening. We've got quite a bit to get through, a few things I want to tie up the loose ends with, a few things we need to look at, and as promised, we are going to take another look at the Sinclair ZX81, and we'll see how tonight goes. There's no guarantees this is going to work. I want to do a few modifications to it, and we're going to try to see if we can load some tape software if we get that far this evening. But that'll be in the sort of second part of tonight's program. As I said, this is the final edition of the live stream for a little while, the end of season 2. This is episode 23, so we've had a good run. Basically, I want to take a break for spring. Basically because there's a fair bit I need to get done, the lighter evenings on the weekends, that kind of thing. So it just seems a good natural place to kind of bring things to a close, if you like. We'll do probably the bulk of the spring and the summer, and late summer into early fall or autumn. So I'm kind of thinking maybe the end of August, sort of September time, I'll be back here with a new and hopefully improved edition of 8 Till Late. There's many things I want to try and do to improve this live stream, making it both in content and also visually a little bit more interesting, hopefully. So there's a few things I want to do to make a few improvements. But before we go any further, probably to say a huge thank you to our sponsor, Cheap Host UK. Do you have a need for reliable and cost-effective web hosting for your blog, business or personal website? If so, then look no further than Cheap Host UK. Cheap Host UK's basic plan starts from only 58p per month. That's £6.99 a year. And if you're needing a little bit more, Cheap Host UK's premium packages start from £1.41 per month or £16.99 a year, complete with a free .co.uk domain. New customers can also take advantage of an extra 10% discount when purchasing any first-time hosting package or domain name from Cheap Host UK. Use discount code SHEEP, that's SHEEP, to get an extra 10% off. For reliable, cost-effective web hosting and domains, look no further than Cheap Host UK. Full details and an affiliate link are in the description to this video. Indeed, and that offer, by the way, will continue even when I'm not live streaming. So if you head over to Cheap Host UK, details and links are in the description to this video or live stream, depending if you're watching me live or on later sort of recorded catch-up, up to you. And of course, if you are watching me later on, then obviously thank you so much. And it's been great to have your company throughout the series and of course tonight. So if you use discount code SHEEP, that's SHEEP, you can get, as I said, a percentage off. And that will carry on, and no doubt we'll be back with Cheap Host UK again real soon. And I just want to say a huge thank you to them for the support they have given me and this programme and channel in particular. We should also say a huge thank you to our members. There they all are. They're brilliant, wonderful people. One of them, there's Martin, who has popped up in the chat. We'll say hello. Good evening, Martin. Thank you for joining me once again. Great to see you. How's it going your end? I'd love to know what you've been doing this week. But there they all are. Those are the people that kindly support me and this channel. You can do so via two ways: patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep, or alternatively, if you want to stay on YouTube, you can become a YouTube channel member. Base support starts from 99p all the way up to £2.99, and those prices will be converted into your local currencies. If they can't be converted, you'll see them in US dollars. Okay, so yeah, bit of news to catch up on, really. I'm trying to think where to start. Let me take you, where do we start? There's quite a bit to talk about. So as I've already explained, this is going to be the final or last in the series for a little while. Again, just because there's quite a lot going on. I've got a fair bit of channel news, so should we dig into that first? So for those of you that remember, I used to do a couple of articles for Pixel Addict magazine, and I had a phone call with the editor, Paul, the other day, and basically asking me about would I be, prepared to do some more material. And I said, oh yes, definitely. So that's kind of one thing I want to be working on during the spring and summer, is writing some more print material. So if we just head over, I can't remember, where did I leave the web browser? In the wrong place. I'll come back to this in a minute, by the way. So yeah, if you're not familiar, Pixel Addict magazine, that's the latest issue now, issue 18, which I'm not in. But I reckon probably by 19, 20 or 21, I'll probably have some new articles and some features back in Pixel Addict. So it's been great. So I've been in, how many have I been in now? About six issues, I think. And it's been a great experience to actually write for a magazine. So yeah, I hope to be back with Pixel Addict in the meantime. If you're new to the magazine, it is well worth supporting. You can buy it in print, you can mail order it. I have seen it on the shelves in larger WH Smith's newsagents stores here in the UK, or it might be more effective to purchase via PDF if you're overseas, and you can just purchase a digital download version. So you can also get the back issues as well. So let's look at print back issues. Yeah, I think they're all in stock. So where was my first? That was my first issue. Was issue 10, and there's the preview. That was the preview from issue 10. You might remember, I think I was showing this on the channel or here on 8 till 8 at the time, but that was my introductory article, which was about me. That was issue 10 when I first appeared. And I think issue 11 was the beginning of my BBC Micro article, I think. Yeah, there we are, with my dying cub. So yeah, that was my first piece I did. It was multi-page, multi-issue thing that went on for about 4 or 5 issues. And I last appeared in issue 15, which... There we go. That was my last article, which was on Hypercard. So yeah, we also talked about Myst, the Sound World Adventure game. So that was my last issue I did. So that was issue 15, and so we're now so 16 and 17 I missed, 18 I'm not in. So who knows? Maybe by issue 20. I might be back. But yeah, well worth a look. So just head over to pixel.addict.media. And yeah, it's a great little magazine and well worth supporting. Okay. Yeah, so it's been a funny one actually. So you probably know that China went on Chinese New Year holiday the other week, or other month rather. And they're now just arriving back at their desks. And normally when this happens, I start to get emails sort of inviting me to participate or preview products. And that's how a lot of my sort of sponsorship type things on this channel happen. And most of the time it's sort of semi-interesting, okay, we'll have a look, not sure kind of thing. But this, we've got things like the X1 that is powering this X1 development board, which is powering this live stream that you're watching right now. We looked at things like Banana Pi, also things like WiMaxit displays, which were really useful, and all sorts of bits and bobs like that. You've probably seen me do a series of product reviews. However, I also get offered things that I cannot understand why you would offer that to me, right? And what I'm about to show you absolutely takes the biscuit. Right, you ready for this? This is a PDF of an email received today, 24th, which is today. And this is the kind of thing I get. This isn't unusual. Let's just zoom in a bit more. Okay. But, well, I'll read it for you yourself. So, dear Wi-Fi Sheep Tech Channel. So they get the name of the channel correct. Okay. I hope this message finds you well. After exploring your channel, I am truly inspired by your passion for content creation and the genuine connection you share with your audience. Okay, I am so-and-so from so-and-so, and today I am thrilled to introduce to you our latest innovation. And this is where it all starts to fall apart. The LED makeup bag, right? Right. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. We are eager to offer you a complimentary sample for a special feature on your channel. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So clearly you have no idea what I do. Yeah. And then they sort of offer you, this is the kind of typical commissioning bonuses you get, blah, 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 blah. I thought I had to. I get all sorts of strange things all the time. I've had another one as well about a child monitoring app for iPhone and Android that tracks your child's phone or device so you know where they are, kind of thing. And I'm just like, yeah. And Marty in the chat is just a present for Anna. Yeah. No, well, I get what you mean, but no, because they'd expect a product review. And it's just like it's clearly, and I obviously know that these are just stock, almost like spam, I would say phishing emails, but they're not, they're stock emails generated, and they kind of just go after. I do believe I'm on a list, and the reason I say that is that email address is me, was this channel, has not been this channel for a little while. Oh, God, go away. I think I've clicked the link and I shouldn't have. Hang on, there we go. Right. So, yeah, so that hasn't been on the channel. If you actually look at the channel for contact details on the YouTube channel, that's not the web address. It's info@wifisheep.co.uk, right? Ident Online is my other sort of operation, and yeah, so it's valid, but that's not been the contact address for some time now. So it's very interesting how they always point at this address, and they always get the channel name correct, but you clearly haven't looked at the content. Now the ones that are kind of tech boards or kind of media video type products or things like that kind of have an interest because it fits with this channel. Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, what am I going to do with that? Well, that's the collaboration you're getting. There you go. Oh, just like, yeah, put some makeup on. Yeah, cheers, Martin. it's just like, can you imagine? It's the most like. Sorry, it just like really. It's some of these products you're thinking, what are you thinking? I've had meat thermometers as well for like sticking in roast chickens and things as well, and I had one for a teapot the other day, which actually, when I think about it, is like, yeah, well, we do go for quite a tea break, don't we, here? So yeah, that might not be so stupid as it sounded, but it's just like, if you're going to offer me like a development board or a single board computer or something like that, that's relevant to this channel, but it's different. Interestingly, at the same time, I don't know what is going on, but exactly the same time, UE2 got in contact with me again. And I was just looking to see if the X1 is... Oh, it is. The box is here. Right. Hang on. Sorry. Bear with me. It's hiding under the desk. Right. So I get another generic email from them, which is almost identical to the first one I ever got, offering me, did I want a sample UE2X1 to review on my channel? And I'm like... I actually replied back to that one. I said... we already have a contract and you've sent me one, so why are you asking me if I want? I said, if you want to send me another one, great, because I think these things are fantastic. But why are you asking if I want to? What? And it was like a stock email again, as if we had no communication, which was kind of weird. So I think that may have been some sort of mistake on their part, or they're just, as I said, just firing these things out, and they're not even realizing if they've already kind of firing them out to people that have already, done deals or arrangements with them. So it's all a little bit strange, but I just thought I'd share that one with you because, oh, well, there you go. Let's talk about something just quickly before we go on. Got a few things I want to talk about. Don't like doing this, but going to do this. Name and shame time, I'm afraid. So, this was about 5 hours ago now. This is a screenshot taken from the post I put out on the Wi-Fi Sheep on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. Just advertising that episode 23 will bring to the end of season 2 of 8 till 8, the tech live stream. There you go. Join me tonight from 2000 hours GMT, which many of you are. And I got, this message back, which you can see underneath, which is from Zeb Alwood, who I don't think I know. I don't know that the Putin cartoon motif seems familiar from something, but I don't know if I've had interaction with this person before. But and there we are. So someone that has to sort of get their ego out to announce that they're leaving. Okay, fine. If I just like, why are you even? So if you want your 5 minutes of fame, there you go. You've now been blocked. If you show up on here, I'll block you again. Just idiot, basically. I mean, okay. Wonderful. Well done. Have a round of applause. I could start adding expletives, but, as I just think, I get so much of this kind of, passive-aggressive sort of people just being jerks, basically. So I am sort of calling it out a little bit now. I mean, that's kind of nothing you could argue, and yeah, it is. It's fine. You do what you want, mate, but not really interested. And obviously you're probably not someone we'd want as part of the community anyway, so on your bike, so to speak. But yeah, so that was a bit disappointing. I'm trying to think. Someone always asks me about the chickens, actually. So for those of you who don't know, I have a flock of a small domestic flock of chickens that lay eggs, and I sell eggs locally. I haven't actually done my egg run today, which is terrible. I go around like a milkman, delivering eggs to the neighbours on contract. They get locally produced eggs, right here on the street, kind of thing. But someone was asked about. I haven't seen the chickens since. Hang on. Oh yeah, they haven't seen the chickens since I did the New Year's Eve live stream with them. So this is a little bit of a video from today. There's Anna with a wheelie bin at the top. So we've been out in the garden today again because spring's coming in. My weekends, another reason for kind of needing to curtail the live stream a little bit is a lot of work to do outside. So all these beds need planting up and crops putting in. But I just thought you might like to see the chickens. So they've been out today. Usually they're up at the top, but we let them come out in the garden because it's been so wet. So everything's waterlogged, and they've just been sort of sitting in puddles of mud, which is not good for them. So I've been letting them come out onto the grass and make a mess of the rest of the garden. The lawn does need a cut, but it's too wet to mow the grass at the moment. So, but I just thought you might like to see them. So there we are, all very happy. Beautiful weather today, actually, really bright. Cold, but really, really bright weather today. So they actually really enjoyed being out. So much so they wouldn't go to sleep this evening. They wouldn't roost. I had to literally shove them back through the coop door to get them to roost, but there you go. I am thinking about trying it like a permanent webcam setup. So slightly better than what I had. The feed you saw was a domestic video camera from a rear bedroom of my property, zoomed right the way along to the very end of my property. So you can actually see them. But I'm actually thinking I'd like to try and set up a camera in the shed at the bottom, like an ESP32 type camera. Maybe see if I could Wi-Fi into it or something, so I could have like a live 24-hour chicken cam feed, something like that. But at the moment, it's horrible up there, so probably not worth doing until the weather improves significantly. But yeah, there you all are. So again, we've been busy today. So if anyone asks, there you go. You've seen the chickens. Another thing that was happening today was if I get this right, the RISC-OS Southwest show. Now, cast your minds back till 2020 and just before the COVID pandemic hit. And I actually did a live broadcast from beginning to end of that show, live from the Bristol RISC-OS Southwest show. That video I think is still online, and there's also a cut down version, sort of highlights video, which you can find if you go and search on the main channel. And well, basically the show ran today. We can go and have a look at some reviews. I've actually had a chat with one of the exhibitors as well. So let's go and have a look at the icon bar quickly. Okay, so this is the icon bar. This is a site that kind of covers Acorn RISC-OS news, if you like. There is an article on here because I've done an interview with them. Oh God, many years ago now. Anyway, yeah. So let's just take a look at Southwest Show report, which is here. Can I dump the details of that into the chat? I think I might be able to. Just bear with me. So if you want to have a look at that yourself at your own leisure. Okay, link has just gone in the chat. Right, yeah. So Southwest Show 2024. At a hotel in sort of central Bristol, not far from Bristol Temple Means railway station. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, I'll go event in pictures because it's probably better just to show you some photographs from the site. Now it does stress with these pictures that it was taken before the show opened. Now, bearing in mind what happened with the last RISC-OS show I did, and the last one that ran in this country was the Midland event, the Christmas Market Midland event, which all of 2 people actually visited. So the exhibitors outnumbered the visitors threefold. I am led to believe Bristol was a little bit more productive, but apparently they got about 50 visitors through in the entire day, which isn't huge, I'll be honest with you. So I've exhibited at this show on or off for a little while now. I haven't done it this year, and I pretty much pulled out of doing these sort of events because I'll be honest with you, they're just not worth it. They're not worth the time and the expense in going. And the content of it's just the same old stuff over and over again, and there's very little kind of, there's very little to be excited about. I mean, yeah, it's hard to make a comment on something I wasn't at, but I mean, and these pictures were taken for the public was in. But 50 visitors, really? Was it really worth it? Probably not. That's paying visitors, by the way. So yeah, I'm in no way at this point feel that I've missed out, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's not a Cambridge Retro Festival, put it that way. It's nowhere near that, and it's probably done. And to be honest with you, I mean, post-COVID it was done. Before COVID, it was struggling. And I know other events have done particularly poor. So, yeah. One thing I do want to bring to your attention, if I can find it, because it was in the news feed. Let's just go back to news and features. Is this big talk about NVMe cards and things that both RISC-OS bits and RComp have sort of been announcing, etc., etc., etc. Which website? That's not the right website. Where is it? I'll try and find it. Where are we? Yeah, it's not well. So apparently, there is a Wi-Fi connection, or Wi-Fi is potentially available to RISC-OS if you're willing to pay for it, and it's a free feature that's been on every other operating system for well over 2 decades now. Of course, being RISC-OS, you have to pay through the nose for simple things that should be free and should have been in it 20 years ago. It's not massively exciting. This project thing, especially one from Arcom, has a name, and I think it's called something like Project Next, which kind of got me thinking. Project Next. Why does that remind me of my Project Rio? Totally different products, totally different projects, but bearing in mind I did work for Arcom. Now, I can't obviously suggest that there's been any kind of, anyone can call something project whatever. I mean, it just seems interesting that that's the naming scheme. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. I'm just, spitballing a bit there. But very interesting that they've called it that. A pay premium product, and then RISC-OS Bits comes up with a free version working with RAW, which are the official developers for RISC-OS. Bearing in mind, if you want to run RISC-OS, you still can, up to, I think, RESPI 3 or 4 will run it for free. So there's no point sort of paying premium prices for things, that kind of like, it's one of the reasons I stepped back, because I just thought there's just nothing going on here, and it's not really to get excited about. If you want to play with RISC-OS, as in a vintage BBC Micro's RISC PCs, the kind of thing I now want to do, that's interesting. But you're playing with legacy hardware that's of its time. The problem is now that there's so few people left that it just doesn't seem worth playing with anymore. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, so the show happened today. 50 people through. I don't know if that's good or bad or whatever, but it's not. I don't feel I've missed out, put it that way. I think that's the fairest comment I can make. I don't honestly feel that I've missed out when it comes to the show. So yeah. Oh, well, if you want to go look for yourself, the link is in the description. You can go and have a look at that yourself and read all the other bits and bobs from the sort of world of RISC-OS, or what's ticking over still. That's over on the iconbar.co.uk. Right, one story that we did touch on briefly that I do want to kind of just bring to a conclusion. This is a little bit off topic, but I do want to touch on it, is the Shenfield Shark, which was a British version of a caboose wagon or car, railway vehicle, that has been adjacent to Shenfield Station, sort of North London, or North London Way, for the past 30 years. That become a bit of a celebrity status, even had magazine articles written about it. And it was destined to be cut up and scrapped last week. And you may remember we had a look on Twitter and X and all that kind of stuff, just to kind of look at all the posts about it. Well, apparently it didn't get cut up last week. It got moved, but not so lucky this week, unfortunately. So this post over on Facebook shows you what has happened. I think this has happened today. Again, not my photos, but there it is. It was winched along the siding it was in to what's called a head shunt, which is a bit of track that kind of connects off the opposite way to how it's connected or switched to the main line, basically allowing things to be rolled, or if things move accidentally, they don't sort of run onto the main line and cause an accident. They go into the head shunt, which is what this is. And as you can see, the thing has been well and truly scrapped with it's like a JCB type thing, literally just sort of cutting the thing apart. And yes, it's been sort of cut in two there. Yeah, so it's met its demise. Now, what is kind of more amusing with this is just people's comments getting really, really, really upset that it's been scrapped. These vans are not common. They don't run on the main line anymore. I remember them on the main line, but they don't run on the main line anymore. But there's plenty in private preserve lines or short lines still use some kind of thing. So it's not a huge loss. It's not rare. But yeah, everyone's like, oh, what a waste and all this kind of stuff. Blah, 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 blah. They should restore it and run it on the main line. You're not going to run a 50, 60-year-old rusting shed on wheels on the main line. Yeah, those days are done. They were withdrawn for a reason. So it looks like it has it's not looked like, it absolutely has met its demise. So there we go. Bye bye the Shenfield Shark. And yes, for some you will be missed. Okay, I'll try stop being so eccentric now. Right, so that's that. I'm trying to think, what else have I got to... Oh, right, yes. I had an email from Brian Martin, who you may remember runs the Night Owl BBS. And he actually emailed me earlier today, sort of wanting to do a few things. And also to suggest to me that... to tell me actually that the BBS is now running daily or nightly and is available through a web protocol. So you may remember we did a BBS special a little while ago which had limited success. But what I thought we might do now is take another look at the BBS through the web protocol, or at least try to. So I have that kind of set up. And we'll have a login. So here we are. This is Night Owl BBS. Details of the Telstar as well is there if BBS is busy, because I think it can still only accept one person at a time. And that person will be me. So I thought, let's go and have a look. So I'm going to try and connect, see if we can get in, if it's not busy. I bet you it's busy. Are we going to get in? I bet you it's busy. Is it busy? Or has it gone offline? It was working earlier. Has it gone offline? Oh, that's not looking promising. Let's try that again. Right, disconnect, connect. Oh, it's not looking promising. Oh, I've just looked in the chat. Hi, Tom. Just there is a caller. Just typical. Absolutely typical. Okay. Right. All right. Then, yeah. All right. You can tell it's live. Oh, okay. That's hilarious. Right. Not to worry. We'll say good evening to you, Brian. Yes, I did get your email. Yes, some things we will have to have a chat at some point. As many of you might remember, I had this idea about kind of wanting to do pages from Night Owl, kind of when you're waiting or on holding cards during the live stream. You can sort of look at the sort of CFAX Teletext style BBS service that is Night Owl. Someone's on the line. Oh, don't worry, Brian. Don't need to push him off. It's fine. He can take his time. We've got some time to kill. It's all right. Just find out. That's brilliant. No, seriously, don't push him off. It's okay. It's all right. You need to set up multiple BBC Masters, Brian. Multiple machines. Then you can have more than one caller on the network at once. I said that to you last time. Oh dear, that's brilliant. Okay. Right. We'll come back to that. The question is, right, what do we do now? What's the time? So I've only been talking for about 38 minutes. Okay. Have I got anything else I wanted to talk about? I think that's everything, isn't it? For the minute. Right. So what we'll do is we'll come back to the BBS. Brian, cheers. I get no traffic all day. I was on a little bit earlier, just checking I could still log in, and I got 4 queuing up simultaneously. Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry. Yeah. Why is it when we tried to have that night and we got like one other person other than me, and we did a whole like theme night for it, and now we've got a queue. So it's getting more popular, Brian. You've got to be honest. It's getting more popular. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. All right. Right. So I suppose. Oh, that's absolutely thrown me, actually. Okay. Well, what I can show you is let's just go and talk about the ZX81 quick. Okay, so Sinclair ZX81, it's something we've been rolling here on the channel on and off, and, you know, working on different bits of it, trying to get it up and running. And yeah, you know, there's stuff that's been, some stuff's been successful with it, some stuff has been a bit frustrating with it. I'm still yet to 3D print a new case for my particular model, and we've also got to work out a way of making the RAM pack more reliable. That's something I might look at tonight. But the first thing I did want to show you, and I was waiting for this, and this got really late in the post, but I actually bought, it's a new old stock, let's move these cables out of the way, it's a new old stock tape data connector. So it's data in, data out. It's quite short. Now I swear to God I've got one of these lying around somewhere, but if I could find it, I couldn't tell you. So this one I've got, which will work for our ZX81. I've also got this, was bought a little while ago. This is a, well, I say brand new. It's new as in I've had it a couple of years. It's new to me. Portable cassette player. Brand new, basically, so not old or not from the 80s or 90s. It's brand new. So my brother, so it's still got the paperwork. My brother actually bought this for me. I've still got a tape in it, actually. So there we are. It's a Bush unit, and yeah, my younger brother bought it for a birthday present because I was kind of wanting to experiment with one tapes, basically for vintage computers. And it's like I've still got, you can still buy brand new cassette tape as well, Maxell cassette tape. So it's audio cassette, it's not as quite as good as the data stuff. And oh, there we are, Silver Mountain BBC Micro. So that's what was actually on that tape. I need to put that somewhere safe. That's technically not magnetic. Hang on a moment, let's just pop that tape somewhere. And that explains why I've got an empty tape box. So yeah, I've been using these to save programs. It's a bit mad really, but yeah. I don't know if it's still the case now, but a couple of years ago you could literally go into the supermarket and buy brand new cassette tape, as well as, well, in this case, brand new players. So yeah, I've had this a little while, and the plan is, look on the side here, so you've got ear, auxiliary, mic, acts as a USB feed, and gives you the option of USB or tape. So it has some functions that might be quite useful, especially for transferring data. So basically you can use these to actually transfer data from cassette to digital audio file, which is potentially quite a useful feature of these more modern devices. So I think we actually need to go. So it's mic and ear. I would actually say auxiliary. Or is it ear? So that's basically earphones and microphone. That's in, ear is out. And that would go like that. Now, the ZX81 itself, let me just go and grab that. Is kind of in PCB format at the moment. We've been working on it. We've got a few things we need to do. And I need to figure out where on earth the keyboard went. So we've got a new keyboard matrix for it, which is somewhere. Oh, I see it. It's up there. I need to go and grab that in a minute. So let's have a think about this. And can't remember which is which is great. Hang on a minute. Need the plastics. So the reason we're not using the case, well, there's a couple of reasons we're not using the case. The main one being the case has been used as a door wedge at some point in its life. And also the fact is that the keyboard membrane on this is shot. So after a discussion with people live here on the live stream that we've been looking at this computer on, people kind of felt that basically it might be better to leave that kind of as is and 3D print, because you can get the CAD file or you can get the CAD files now to actually 3D print a whole new case, which allows me to make some modifications and some additions without cutting this up. And I've got a new membrane keyboard that we can fit basically in place of this original. So we can keep that kind of as is. It looks kind of cool. Now, the reason I've got that is I just need to check here which is which. So ear and mic. So ear, hang on. This always confuses me. So is it mic in or is mic out there? Hang on, I'm confused. So ear, does it go ear to ear, mic to mic, or is it ear to mic, mic to ear? So one might assume it's ear to, and assumptions are always dangerous to be doing. Which way do we go? We're going that way. So we sit like that in the unit. So 9-volt power is also on the blooming same audio jack. So it's very easy to put 9 volts onto a 5-volt line, which is slightly devastating with these. So ear, I've got on red. So ear to ear, mic to mic. I'm not sure that's right, you know, but there we go. So unfortunately, with the orientation of this being, because the computer will be like that, you see, so it's that's a very short cable, probably too short really, but it'll be all right for testing purposes. Yeah. Also, the other thing we've talked about looking at, so we need to test this later on, but one thing we need to look at is this voltage regulator, which I am tempted to replace purely because of the age, and I believe it's a 9-volt to 5-volt line. So you take 9-volt in and it basically regulates the power down to 5 volts and the rest of the board is fed on 5 volts. TX to RX, thank you. Right, couldn't remember. Thanks for that, Martin. So we go that way around. Okay. I just don't have an awful lot of experience using this kind of tech because it's, you know, BBC Micros, it was just a DIN plug. So You didn't literally have, like, unlike the Sinclair stuff, you didn't actually physically have separate mono wires. So hopefully this might work. But yeah, one of the things I want to do first of all is replace this voltage regulator, and I did have one lying around and it is moved, which isn't great, but not to worry, as I can grab one from my Spurs bin. There we go. And there we have shiny new voltage regulator, which we can use to change out from old voltage regulator. Now, old voltage regulator is working fine, it's just running extremely hot. So it might just be best just to swap it out. This should be cross-compatible, he says. It should be. I mean, it's a Chinese part as opposed to, what's the original? Original's a Motorola part, so it could be American. But yeah, so just disconnect that. So yeah, so what I'm thinking is let's take these off here. Let's disassemble that just for the moment. Get the soldering iron on. There we go. And we'll get that powered up. Don't know where my foam. Oh, there's my foam pad. Well, just a bit of sponge actually, which is disintegrating, but it'll be all right. So let that heat up. So the plan is we'll desolder this. If I've got a decent flathead screwdriver, I have. Thank you, by the way, to everyone who has made comments and suggestions on helping me with this. Greatly appreciated. So yeah, this should just be a like-for-like replacement, and we'll just desolder here. So we've got to be a little bit careful with this. So just add a little bit of flux. Because this board is fragile, to say the least. So we're going to let the soldering iron heat up a little bit. I'm just going to run and just going to get some water on this sponge. So just give me 2 ticks. Okay, so that's now damp. Solder, which that's the point. Where's the solder? Oh, don't tell me I took it to work and it's in the car. Oh, right, hang on a minute. Yes, this is basically because I wasn't planning on doing this just yet. We're going to go and look at Night Owl for the first bit, and then I was going to have a tea break. Then we're going to come back and do this, and I was going to go and grab the toolbox out of the car. Oh, right, okay. Yes, because I take toolbox to work, and I always put my solder in it. Right, so I think what we're going to have to do is just hold that thought for a moment. I'll say hello to Gert Mon, who's, by the way, Gert Mon. First of all, hello. I've been saying your name wrong, username wrong. I've been saying Gert Mon, right? And is it Gert Mon? Because that's how it's actually written, and I've been saying it wrong. So if I've been getting that wrong, I apologise. I get everyone's name. I pronounce everything wrong. Those of you that are regular to the channel will know this by now. So it's just the sort of thing you have to tolerate with me, I'm afraid. I do my best, but yeah. So correct. Yeah, I do apologise. I've been saying your name wrong for ever since you first started appearing in comments, and I can only apologise. You are not the first, and sadly, you won't be the last. But I had noticed this the other day. I am now, for the record, correcting myself, only to then say it wrong again in the next sort of 5 minutes or so. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do is we'll take a short break. I'm going to go and get the solder. I'll make another cup of tea. So we'll take a tea break and we'll come back and we'll do this voltage regulator swap over. And we'll then find out if we can go back on Night Owl just yet. But if we can, that'd be great. That is the plan for tonight. We're not quite doing it in the right order. But anyway, yeah. So I'll be right back. Let's go on a little tea break. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, sorry about that. I found my solder, which wasn't where I thought it was. Also, for some bizarre reason, my fiance has left the building, and I don't know where she's gone, and her car has gone, which isn't great, so I have no idea what's going on there. My guess is there's been a problem at her work. If there's a problem at her work, because she's the manager, she can be called in at any time. So I don't think she's walked out on me, but I think she may have had a work problem. And she hasn't been able to tell me because I've been live talking to you. So that might be the issue. Anyway, apologies for the really long delay there. I was just desperate to try and find my solder, because if we hadn't found it, we would be in trouble tonight. So, okay. Right, so let's take a look at this board. Let's just zoom in. Again, apologies for these slightly dodgy manual zoom-ins. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to take these out, these 3 pins here out, and I've got my better metal. Hang on a minute. Let me get my better metal desolderer. 1 moment. At least I assume it's mine, and I assume I haven't actually stolen it from work. Don't think I've stolen it from work. That's the problem. You've got to try and make sure you don't get your own stuff mixed up with work. But anyway, right, so again, I don't know why that is appearing so purple on camera. It's strange, but anyway, okay. So what we're going to try and do is just add some fresh solder to these pins. Oh, that sounds like someone's home. If that was the problem with work, she wouldn't have been back that quick. Anyway, right. So put some fresh solder on. It's just because she's in the solder sucker just to take off the excess. And then what we can use is, I've got a bit of a solder braid or solder wick that we were using the other day, or at least attempting to use the other day. So we'll just add some more flux. And a huge thank you to Martin again, just for suggesting to flux up the braid, which does actually make a lot of sense when you think about it. Just clean up the iron again. Remembering it gets hot quite quick, so not to hold it by the metal part. Or end up soldering the braid. We do have to be careful because this is quite a fragile board, so I don't want to damage it. So I Let's try a solder sucker again. Just take out any more we've got left. Oh, making sure we've actually got that set right. Right, now let's see if we can get this out. I really should invest in a proper desoldering gun. Make life a lot easier, but we've got what we got. So what I've got is a pair of pliers, and the component's actually bent over. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of pressure. Like when you watch Adrian's Digital Basement, which is a channel I'm a huge fan of, I'm sure many of you are as well, and he just sort of desolders stuff with proper kit and it just drops out the board, and you're like, yeah, I would like that. Not going to happen though. That's like invest in some better kit, which, to be honest with you, is probably worth doing. Come on. Nearly there. Just a little bit of patience. Give that a minute. So you were nearly getting there. There's not a lot holding that in, so. Well, that sort of worked. It's kind of broke. That's all right. I was hoping to get it out in one piece, but you can see we've still got two legs, but that's okay. That probably makes life a little bit easier, actually, because we can just I'd rather break the component, to be honest with you, than break the let's just take that out. A bit more solder on that. Yes, I have seen the message, Brian. We'll come back to that very shortly. Just want to get this sorted as quickly as possible. If you can hear a whiny dog, I do apologise. She's unfortunately gone back onto heat, which is making her a bit, how can I put this, emotional. I think is the best way to describe it at the moment. So it's a bit like, ugh, okay. Right, let's just try and get this out quick. Okay, that leg is out. This one's been really stubborn. Wow, I've never known anything as bad as this. And again, I'm just really conscious about not damaging the pads. Under there. Okay. So we've just got one more leg just to take out. Putting up a fight. There we go. Okay. Appreciate that might have been off camera, but there we are. It's done. So that's now clear, hopefully, and it should be possible to, might need a little bit of cleaning out, which we'll do in a moment, but that should be possible to get a new regulator through that hole. A bit messy that one, but I say could have been far worse. Hoping that hole is actually yeah. Fortunately, it's not blocking that hole as well now, which is annoying. Always the way, isn't it? Let's just add a bit more flux. That's better. That's cleaned it up. Okay. So hopefully it hasn't done any trace damage. And we can get a new regulator. To fit in, it might need a little bit of coaxing. Nearly, slightly bent leg, nearly, need to work on that, but we'll come back to that in a moment. So we're nearly there with that. Okay, so we'll come back to the soldering very shortly. Let's try and revisit Night Owl if we can. So just a reminder, Night Owl was or is a BBS bulletin board that you can actually access online, run entirely by Brian Martin, who's in the chat. We did a special here on 8 till 8 a little while ago, and I wanted to just go back and have another look. So we tried a little bit earlier on, and we couldn't get through because it can only take one person at a time. So let's have a look now and see if we can connect. Let's try that again. Oh, there we go. So I'm using an online terminal to do this. He says. Now this worked perfectly earlier on, but unfortunately okay. We seem to be suffering a few issues. Is it still engaged? Says it's free now. Okay. I'll try again. Oh, we are. Okay, I think we're through. Are we through? No. It's lost the connection. Let's just do a restart. Okay, we're in. We're in. Here we go. Okay, so this is Night Owl, and hopefully you can see that correctly. So there we are. By the way, the information for Night Owl and the ports are actually there if you want to try it on the online version. We did cover this a little while ago here on the channel. So yeah, so I said this is Night Owl, which we're sort of revisiting here on Wi-Fi Sheep. By the way, if Night Owl is busy, which it will be because I'm on it at the moment, Telstar is also available at glasstty.com. The details are actually on screen now. But yeah, let's take a look then. A few things have been going on here on Night Owl. It should be a more semi-regular service, apparently. At least I'm told, reliably by Brian himself, who's currently in the chat. So let's see if we can actually log in. Tom. Yep, we'll say that's correct. Comes back as Wi-Fi Sheep. Is this correct? Yes, it is. Password? Right. Hopefully I can remember this time. There we go. So now has a new sort of like electronic mail bulletin board type system apparently. So that is new since we last looked at it last time. So we'll say enter. There we go. So I've had a message. Hi Tom and the chaps at Wi-Fi Sheep. There's only myself and one chap S at the moment. Have you can check and say hi? So yeah, there you go. So I think we go Q. And here's the front page. And here we are. This is the index for Night Owl. So mailboxes are new. We've got bulletin board, retro YouTube. I think we've seen before. Let's just check on mailbox again. So press hash to continue. So it's also got so we've got well, you can see for yourself, we've got introductions, bulletin boards, retro computer chat. That's number 4 being mail the admin, and we've got the blog on 5. Let's have a look at the blog. forward. Okay, does that not? Okay. Have I done something wrong? Oh no, there we go. Right. So there we are. So this is to all from, as you can see. And hash reading the page. There we go. So yeah, that's new. I have been asked to sort of look about adding some content, which stuck on there too. Oh, here, bulletin board on 2. Read messages. Reverse. Nope. Forward then. And there we go. So you can easily get lost sort of just reading stuff on the bulletin board. Is that next or no? Yeah. So I kind of need to figure out how to actually operate this competently, which I think, would help. But there it is. So yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. So maybe we'll look at some additional content for Night Owl BBS. Definitely worth a look if you're interested. So the details are there. I will post now. Where are we? I will post to you a web client if you want to go and have a look at this yourself. You absolutely can do so. So that's the address for the web client. I am going to sign off and call it a day on that for the 2nd. So we can... Let's just give me a moment. So 0. There we are. So yeah. How do you leave? I forget how you nicely leave the system actually, but I think we'll just disconnect. There we go. Okay, so I've now disconnected, so that should have freed it up. So if anyone else would like to go and have a look, you do have to register an account just for the interface. So as you saw, name, first name, surname, location, password, and you can set yourself up on the BBS. Something we will be returning to and having another look, especially when 8 till 8 comes back. So a reminder for those of you that are just joining us or have joined us late, this is the last in the series and we're not going to be here next week. I'm taking a break from the live stream, basically for the spring and possibly most of the summer. I plan to be back doing the live stream. I plan to be back in August, September time. Basically just because I've got many things I need to get done in the spring and summer months, especially on the weekends. So it seems a good time to kind of pause this because I want to bring back some new features, A, to Wi-Fi sheep, and also B, to this live stream to kind of improve the whole viewer experience, which is kind of the plan. So hence why we're going to call this episode 23, the last of season 2. And put it this way, this has been far more successful than the season 1 attempt over on Twitch originally. So yeah, this has been far more successful. I think after 23 episodes, I need a little bit of a break just because I need to do stuff on my weekends and other work and stuff. So I'm extremely busy, as you already know. But that doesn't mean that we won't be carrying on with stuff here on Wi-Fi Ship. We absolutely will. I've got many other videos and projects, including a project where I want to build something to have some 90s machines, 90s PC and desktop machines that I want to have on a shelving system kind of there in that corner connected to this monitor. So that's kind of another project I want to do. And of course we're working here on the ZX81, which we'll get back to now. So let me just straighten up the voltage regulator that I managed to bend. So let's just stretch the pins out a little bit. So we're just replacing the voltage regulator to remind you where we are and what we're attempting to do. So it wants to sit. That pin there, unfortunately, is slightly clogged. Which is really, really annoying. So it's just this one here is clogged. So let's just heat the soldering iron back up, because I turned it off and I shouldn't have done. So the other thing I'm thinking of doing is cleaning up these traces, which I kind of need. Have I got a pen for that? If I haven't, it's not the end of the world. I have got, I'm going to try and find my, there we are. I have got some surgical spirit, which is basically rubbing alcohol, and Q-tips, or cotton buds as we call them over here. Oh, there we go. So I'll just dip that in the surgical spirit. While I wait for the soldering iron, we'll just give these contacts a clean. Because they're quite, you know, you can tell it's definitely had something in it at some point, because they're got these lines. You can, I don't know if you can see on camera. I'll just see these sort of lines in the actual mask itself. I should say the copper. So basically, this has got some use on it. To be fair, it's not too dirty. What I was wondering about doing is just adding a bit of solder onto these. Some of these are actually looking really kind of corroded. So it's no wonder we were having connection problems. I mean, the cartridge was not great anyway. The RAM pack cartridge, that is. But yeah, if you've got pins like that. But it's also about being extremely careful not to look at that. I've just noticed there's a little rework or something just there. You can see that. How strange. Anyway, yeah, so what I'm thinking is maybe just adding some fresh solder onto these just to bulk this up a little bit so it's a slightly better fit. That's one idea. Is that back up to temperature yet? Yes. So before we do that, let's just see if we can just clear this hole out, which unfortunately is still blocked. It's actually blocked from the top, so just tin it on the top. Okay. That's looking much better, actually. So hopefully our voltage regulator will actually now go through. Still putting up resistance, but this is the new regulator, which as you can see is actually now going through. Okay. And wants to, so what wants to happen is this piece, the heatsink, if we're still using the heatsink, which I'm going to say yes we are, heatsink goes on like that. This then needs to come down to a point where you can actually screw the hole. Or screw through the hole rather. Which should be like that. And that's on the other side. So that's the new regulator, and then we can just tin and solder these pins, which you can see there. which we can just do now very quickly. There we go. You solder for a good connection. Excellent, there we are. So, and where are my snips gone? I think those are in the other room as well. All my tools are in the wrong place. So we need to cut those off, which we'll do in a moment. So the other thing I want to look at is just tinning on top of these, which we'll clean them up then with a Q-tip. You saw that. Let's just add some flux. Now the reason for just putting some tin on this is just to aid the contact and build a little bit of depth on, just so that when we clip the RAM pack in, it's got a little bit more purchase, because these have definitely had something on. So let's just add I think that's flowing quite nicely. We could do both sides. I'm tempted just to do one side at the moment. There we go. Okay. Just add a little bit more. Okay, right. So that's added a bit of solder onto those pins. So new heatsink is in. It just needs tightening up actually because it's a bit loose. And we've added some more material soldered to the top of those pins, which might help with the RAM pack. They are really neat internal solutions for RAM now. You don't actually need the old, original RAM packs anymore. And if you're watching this with an American Timex unit, you don't need to worry. Those come with 16K as standard. It's just these original British ones that had a measly 1K of RAM. Which for all intents and purposes was a bit of a disaster. Because you couldn't really do an awful lot with 1K of RAM. Right, so where is the RAM pack these days? It's in one of these. That's the new power supply I showed you the other week. So I think in here is the original RAM pack that we assume is working. So here is the original Sinclair 16K RAM pack. And now I've added a bit of material or solder. Let's just see how well that fits in. Oh yeah, already you can tell that's hopefully electrically much better than it was. I'm just thinking, should we do the other side? It might help. Yeah, you know what, I thought we might. Let's just do the same on the other side. So just add flux. This is alcohol based flux, so it doesn't need cleaning up afterwards. there's some corrosion on these. Solder is not sticking too good. I might go and grab my brush in a minute just to get these to clean up, but most are alright, but some of them are not good. Just going to get a screwdriver and just have a look at these two. Just so we can get back to some good material that we can actually solder to. Just try that. Really not happy on these traces. That one is particularly bad. Again, you have to be so careful when doing this. So what I might just do is just heat that up. Just take that off a minute. So I've got a glass fibre pen in here. I should have. He says I should have, but I haven't seen it in a little while. I know I've got them upstairs, but interesting. So this one here is just very, very corroded. That's better. Okay, that's a bit better. So that's just added some material to both sides. So just try putting the RAM pack on. So will it even go now? Oof. Interesting. So we might actually just need to just flatten some of this solder down a little bit. Too tight a fit, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think that might fix that issue, because that's now very, very secure. So yeah, but hopefully that's dealt with that issue. RAM pack is on. New voltage regulator is in. Yeah, okay. So we need to just get rid of these bits of solder. It's never good to have specks of solder around, especially when we've got exposed PCB board. But that's looking really good. Let's just turn the soldering iron off a minute. Some bits in the bin. So I'm happy that RAM pack probably isn't going to go anywhere and might not actually need any external case modification to fit better. Just needed a bit of solder. He says, famous last words this, just needed a bit of solder on the actual pins for the edge connector, and that's really solid now. So I'm thinking with mine I wouldn't be taking this out, so it's not going to constantly have that kind of in out, you know. It'll just stay physically on this board, which is fine. So that's looking good. So I think the next start again. I think the next thing we need to do is we'll need to put the keyboard on, power this board up, and just make sure it still runs. Now, if you remember from last time, a little bit of an issue because I haven't done any modification. I think there's a quick modification you can do to get composite out. But what I'll do is I'll run via RF, so I'll need to set up a little black and white TV, and we'll crudely point a camera at it so you can see what's happening on screen. So let's just do that now. So you'll just have to bear with me a moment while I reposition everything. Actually, I do need to just go and grab my snips from the other room, because I just need to cut off the legs on that power regulator. So one moment. Okay, got the snips there, and while I remember, I'll just bring the keyboard, which in a flat envelope, so put that on in a moment. So let's just cut this regulator down. These are the pins here, so we'll just cut those off. Okay, so hopefully that'll work. Should work, he says. Famous last words. And again, it's just a case of just removing this scrap the best we can from the desk. Right, before we do anything else, it's not that exciting, but before we do anything else, let's just put the power supply in. So it's a new power brick for this ZX81. I do have the original power supply, but oddly enough, I don't trust it. So we'll just pop this new supply in. So it's 9-volt feed. And again, I need to do a proper label for which one it is, because I always forget. And it's this one here, which I knew. I knew that anyway, and of course you knew it at home as well. So 9 volts into there. Let's just, for the minute, take my RAM cartridge out, just in case, for whatever reason, this goes horribly wrong. At least I won't blow the RAM cartridge up. Because obviously we have just changed the voltage regulator, so we just need to check that everything is okay. So, oops, board flying everywhere. Right, so multimeter on, let's put that on to, there we go, just give us what we want. Oh, do you know what, let's go there. shouldn't be that high, but you know, you never know. Okay. That's power on. Of course, you don't get any audible beep. There's no LED or anything, so you never quite know what's going on. And let's just do a quick measurement. Okay, let's drop that down. Being very careful not to short anything out here. That's 5 volt, 9 volt, 4 that's 5 volts basically. So yeah, that's working fine. Thank goodness. So 9 volts comes in, and the logic is running about 5 volts or 9 points. Or was it 9 something? So that's great. That's near enough. Stop things sliding around in a room. Okay, so we can assume that's all right. He says. I mean, yeah, regulator gets a little bit warm, but that's not terribly warm. I mean, it's better to have the new regulator in anyway. So I would strongly advise replacing that part. Nothing else. I think you can get some that don't need a heatsink. I think this one will probably benefit from having the heatsink still, but at least we've changed that part. Should be fine. Let's just take the keyboard again, which is, here it is. So it is a flat panel membrane keyboard, a new build, and it just fits into 2 bits here. Like so. This one's always a bit funny to get in. Okay. Right, that's that done. So now I need to rig up a TV, which is always going to be a slight pain. Basically, at the moment, it runs on UHF RF. So it's not just a composite. If it was a composite monitor, that would be great. I could just digitally send that to you, like I do with my Tiny Basic builds. But unfortunately, it's not. So we're reliant on setting up a little black and white television with a tuner, and there's a cable to work with it. I do like this little TV. I've shown it to you before, so I've got bits everywhere. That's the problem with doing one of these sessions. You just end up with stuff everywhere. So here is the I've zoomed in a bit, but here's the television that we'll set up. So pop that in like that. I need to get power for the TV, which is, oh please don't tell, yes, the power supply is in the other room as well. Power supply, there we are, just for the television unit itself. Okay, that's there. Now, the only way I think we can do this, which we did last time, is, this is a bit crude, I'm afraid, is to move one of the cameras, or at least attempt to move one of the cameras when it's not tangled up. I shall pop that on the desk, and there we go. So something a bit like that. Okay, now this hasn't been changed tuning wise, so if we turn that on, okay, and now if we turn back on the ZX81, there we go. Apologies for the slight flicker there. That's just the sync ratio. This is the power signal. I don't know if we can just get that any sharper. We can. Again, I do apologise for the flickering, but there we go. Sometimes it will actually sync. So again, if your photo sensitive, again, I do apologise, but it sometimes does sync. Okay, so we know that works. That's great. So we'll just power down a moment. And if we just cut back to camera 1. So let's try putting the RAM pack in. Now we've made that small modification. Okay. Right, RAM pack is in. Hopefully this will work. Right, back to camera 1. Power back up. No. RAM pack not happy. Oh dear. Have we just done something absolutely fatal to this board? That's a really nice secure connection now, but is RAM pack not happy? Oh dear. Let's slight adjustment. Nope, still not happy. RAM pack might need to clean itself, admittedly. Let's just try that once more. It's a really nice snug fit now. That's the annoying thing. So it should be, you know. No. Okay. Let's take RAM pack back out a minute. Yeah. He says, well, at least I think that's sort of happy. I don't know. Seems a bit darker than before, the image. Let's just see if it is actually running. On the keyboard, which we should have print. I can remember where print is. Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah, that is running, but not with a RAM pack. Interesting. Interesting. So, did adding all that solder damage something? Because it could just be one set of pins not making a contact on the edge connector, and that's enough to finishes off. So we'll just power down again. Just carefully take a look on the other side of the board. Don't know. Followed by oh dear. Interesting. It's really not happy now. Let's try that again. Okay. It could be the edge connector's dirty. It's a possibility. The pins look all right. I mean, this I think was working last time, so right. I think what we probably need to do is just take the television off, just out the way for a minute. Like down there. Might just disconnect our keyboard just to make sure that's safe. It was under here that was causing problems, so we might just try reflowing that. Maybe clean it up a bit, take some of the solder off just so we get a better connection. This is probably where we'll get ZX Spectrum fans, or ZX81 fans, sorry, sort of going, no, don't solder the connectors. Just run some get my multimeter again. Let's just try running continuity mode. Just check that. Yeah, all right. He says famous last words. Okay. I'm going to assume, I haven't tested them all, but I'm going to assume we're all right. So what I might just do is just try and flatten these down a little bit, just so we've got a bit more of a uniform profile. Because the whole point was trying to add a bit of material, if you like, to the top. And that might have backfired on me. He says. So let's just... Are we up to temperature? Yes, we are. in my defence, this did seem like a really, really good idea at the time. Shall I also say, if you're still watching, good evening to Peter Halkins, sorry. A good friend of mine. Current maintainer of RPC EMU, which we have talked about many a time here on the channel. And I'm going to assume, Peter, that you were not at the Southwest show today. We did talk about it a little bit earlier. I was not as well. Just going to use a bit of solder braid or solder wick just to clean up. Peter's saying you went to a toy and train fair instead. I don't blame you. I honestly don't blame you. 50 people apparently, visitors for the Southwest show today, which is better than what happened at Midland, but I don't really know if that's good. I think considering that you have to, well, certainly you have to pay for Midland, but at least it wasn't too expensive. Whereas Southwest, they really do kind of, they make their money by charging for the content. So you have to pay to attend. Yeah, people are more or less paying, especially when you're not trade. You reckon that's not bad at all? Yeah. I wasn't sure. I didn't really know what the numbers were these days, but 50 apparently. So I have been reliably informed by someone who was actually trading there. So this is working quite nicely. Just, I know you probably can't see that on camera, but it's actually working quite nicely just to flatten the ridges on this a little bit. So possibly I just had a little bit too much depth, but I just wanted to try and get a good connection with this really troublesome RAM pack. And that's just it. I don't think anything has, failed as such. I just think that, the connection on this RAM pack is so questionable at best. Just wonder we can just cut off the bit I've been using. A bit more out. Just a bit of flux. Okay, so they're now looking flatter and nicely tinned, shiny. Underneath, Might go back over underneath again. So some of these pins on underneath are looking a bit questionable. So there we go. Okay. So at the very least it's been retinned. So there should be some connection there. Right. Let's try and pop things back the way they were. For the purposes of testing. So I think we'll just leave the keyboard off at the moment. So we don't need it. So that goes on there, that goes on there. TV monitor. There. Goes into the area on the back, like so. Move some bits out the way so you can see. Put the camera back so you can see. Okay, let's power back up. Okay, so that's without the cartridge or RAM pack, sorry. Let's take that bit of solder wick out of the way. So let's try that now with the RAM pack installed. Fingers crossed. No, still no. Not happy. Not happy. But I can't have broken anything. It's just a bit of solder, so that's not. It will literally just. Problem is now that connection is nowhere near as good as it was. I mean, I'm assuming it's working. Oh dear. Let's just keep trying. No. Wow. Oh dear, have we generated a huge problem with our RAM pack? I'm just, oh, sorry, wrong camera. Just looking at the pit. Wow. I mean, the edge connector pins look all right. Probably could do with a clean. But absolutely in tight. Oh, there we are. Okay. That's the first. I believe that's worked. Oh, it did. Oh no, that did work very briefly. Okay. It worked really briefly, and then it stopped working. Oh my dear, terrible. Oh no. I mean, yeah. I'm just wondering if just for the sake of argument at the minute, let's just pop this. Can it go back in its case? Sort of like that, just so it's got screwed in, but I just wonder if that might help. Breeder's just suggesting, is it time to break out the gentle adjustment hammer? That's not going to work if hang on. Wow. I can't believe it's that bad a connection. Oh dear. So let's just have a think about this. So Martin's saying there's a lot of blue pins showing behind the blue connector. Where? It should sit like that. Yeah, you mean this piece here? No, that's normal because it needs because when it's plugged into the board, it needs to, because this piece is then flush against the back of the case when that's in. So it's possible. I mean, I'm not ruling anything out. It did work momentarily, and then it kind of off its own accord stopped working. I was just like, wow. Or did putting the extra material on there break it? I can't think that. I thought that would have helped at the very least. IPA, well, I've got Surgical Spirit, which is basically the same. So I suppose, yeah, the next thing to do probably is just to give that a clean. Just with a cotton bud. Might need to get something else just to work in there. Actually, need to just get a towel or something. Just one moment. So this tissue's probably a little bit too, what's the word, fluffy, but it might do. So let's just try that. So now my cotton buds are deteriorating now, so I don't know if we can just get that into the edge. Screwdriver just to edge that in. Not the best cleaning job in the world, that, admittedly. I mean, the edge connect looks all right. It can't be that bad a connection. But it absolutely is. I mean, the thing is, it did work momentarily. Just oh dear, this is turning into a bit of a problem very quickly. I seem to remember in the last video this worked far better, so I think I've done something by nearly. Yes? No? I don't know. I didn't put the keyboard in. It thought about it. You set delay. Just turn it back on again. So it takes a minute and then it goes bump there. Okay. It is just a connector then. Peter's suggesting it's fine, just never move. Oh dear. Okay, so I was hoping we might have got some tape loading tonight, but it's getting a little bit late now, and I don't think we're going to get around to that, unfortunately. Just try that one more time. Yeah, it is consistent. So one assumes that's 16K. But what's the betting? If I just power that down, if I just move it like that. No. But I bet you that is the sweet spot. And any kind of movement now. All right, well, okay. I'm going to assume that's 16K. Bit hard to tell, really. Yeah. Oh, hang on. You're on that camera. Sorry. 1 minute. Let's just cut to the other camera. There we are. Right. I need to pop that camera back. This is all going to be out of focus now, isn't it? Yeah. Ooh, hang on. Just bear with me. There we go. There we are. Right. Yeah, so basically with the Z81 project, there's a fair few things we need to kind of work on. One is better video out. I am looking at this ESP32 mod, as I mentioned before, that allows for VGA out and for loading of tape images kind of directly and fast through the tape interface from the ESP32. So that's one thing I'm looking at. I did want to test with the cassette tapes, but I think we'll have to do that in a follow-up video. And also I want to look at doing a 3D print case, so we won't use the original case, as I said, because it's not in the best of nick. You've already seen the where are we? The dent where it's been used as a doorstop by someone. So yeah, we've got a few things we'll do, and we'll do that on a pre-record follow-up video here on the channel over the coming month or so. Gertman is suggesting quite common for people to make adapters to try and stop movement or hardwire into. Yeah, it's possible we may end up having to do like a hardwire approach or something, which I'm totally up for doing if that's what we've got to do. And so be it. Or there's modern RAM ways. There's like a modern RAM board you can fit that does away with the RAM pack and actually fits it 16K internally, which is a possibility, and I'll have to sort of investigate what is the best course of action. But yes, so we will see how that project progresses, and look out for further updates right here on Wi-Fi Sheep. So make sure you have liked and subscribed. Right, I think let's just hang on. Let's just test it one more time. Oh, you can't see now. Oh, it is still running. I beg your pardon. Hang on, because I've moved the camera, so you can't. You just have to take my word for this. It's just right. No, it still works. Damn it. Oh dear. Right. Okay. Yeah. So I think we're just coming up to our sort of half past 10, 22, 30, 100 hours GMT here in the UK, and that I think is going to bring to an end this series of 8 Till Late right here on Wi-Fi Sheep. 23 episodes, only 3 weeks off in between. It's been a really good run, really enjoyed it, and huge thank you to all of you that have stuck around week in, week out as I've been doing this. And it's been great to have your company. It's been great to have your suggestions, and it's also been, you know, fantastic for you to be basically, hang on, going to turn it off, that's going to annoy me. It's been fantastic to have your suggestions and help, and also you know, stopping me doing stupid things live on air. Like I know Martin's caught me out a couple of times going, you do need to cut the trace on that, otherwise you're directly shorting your resistor, especially when we're building that power adapter or circuit for the early builds of the Tiny Basic 8 Till Late Tiny Basic Project Rio system. If you're waiting for the next installment of Project Rio, it's on the way, trust me, as are a few extra videos, as is the video looking at the Atari ST Pi based system. So yeah, it's all coming up on the channel, I promise you. And also don't forget Wi-Fi Sheep Channel 2, which is should be in the link to the description of the video, or just search for Channel 2 or Wi-Fi Sheep 2, sorry. And there's lots of stuff on there, including some of the railway bits that we've talked about. The Shark model, by the way. We were talking about the Shenfield Shark. There we are. That's the Shark model. It's still here. Still got model railway wagon sitting on the 3D printer for some reason. So it's still there. Yeah, so we will be back with 8 Till Late. Let's think now. So I said probably around, I'm going to say August, September time. I said I just need to get a few things done. And it's kind of nice to round off the series after 23 episodes. When we come back, I'm hoping for true HD, new graphics package, a few new sort of visual enhancements, and maybe a few new bits that we can do here live on the stream, including getting some of you to join me in like a Zoom or Skype call, so we can have more kind of voices and faces in the program at once. That would be really cool, and I do want to try and get that sorted. I know I've talked to some of you kind of behind the scenes about doing that. Was hoping we might have tried that in this run, but it's just time to organise it. It's getting on a little bit, but I think by the time we start encroaching in the autumn winter again, might be a real opportunity to do kind of a few special editions We have a few guests on as well via Zoom or Skype, so that'd be really, really cool. And just about kind of encouraging each other and, you know, sharing our interest and passion for electronics and vintage computing. Right, so I think I've waffled on enough. If you haven't done so already, please do consider liking and subscribing. Thank you to everyone who continues to support me on Patreon or on YouTube channel members. Just a reminder, Patreon, it's there, it's YouTube, patreon.com/Wi-Fi sheep. And YouTube channel members, there are the tiers available starting from 99 pence all up to £2.99. It's the join button on youtube.com/Wi-Fi sheep. Right, whatever you're doing for the rest of this evening, assuming it is this evening, so I know we have international viewers all over the world, or if you're joining me on the rewatch or the rerun, then thanks so much for watching. And yeah, I'll see you real soon. So do keep across all the Wi-Fi Sheep social media at Wi-Fi Sheep. Will find me on most of the common social media platforms. And yeah, plenty more coming up right here on the channel. But for me, and for the final time for season 2 of 8 till 8, thank you so much for your company. And wherever you are, a very good night. Good night.